If you want to lift between cuts, you can use the height sensor tab in your variables file. So in the last step in our process here, I'm on the post screen. Can go to options and then edit variables, and then go to the height sensor tab. And this is assuming that you have programmable Z on your machine and no height sensor, otherwise this won't work right. So this first height sensor field, normally there's some code in there, G99 something, so you can just delete out whatever's in there, so we're not going to use that. And then height sensor down, you can set that to G00Z0, so that'll tell the cutting head to go back down to whatever height that it started the program at. And then height sensor up can be G00Z, and then in the curly braces we have a 0, and it'll take whatever value we have down here for the Z pop-up distance and replace that for the 0 there. And then height sensor with tool offsets, that's not one that we're going to use. I can show you how you can make some of these disappear. You might have additional settings on this screen that you can hide that don't apply. So use height sensor, that's the one they actually turn on to have it to put the codes in. And then if you have the latest version of WARDCAM, you should also have an option for lift Z at end. So down here at the bottom, this is the string that it's going to put in at the end of the program if you want to lift by, for example, a different amount. In this case here, I have it lifting by 2 inches at the end of the program. You could also make that 1 inch, whatever you want to lift at the end of the program. So if we go ahead and save that and click on CNC, make our file. Then at the beginning of the program, we've got the G00Z1, lifts up 1 inch, wrap is over, and then comes down, cuts, and then lifts 1 inch and down. And then at the end of the program, we're going to lift by 2 inches. So if there are additional options on that height sensor tab that you don't need, you don't want to see because it confuses things, if you press your scroll lock key on your keyboard, in this case I'm just going to use my on-screen keyboard and press my scroll lock key, then you can turn those options off that don't apply. So if I go back into options and edit variables, go back onto my height sensor tab here. So right now it shows all the different options that are available on that tab. The ones that are blue are the ones that are currently visible. The ones that are gray are currently hidden. So the height sensor with tool offsets, if that doesn't apply to your machine, you can turn that off. And then if I turn my scroll lock key back off again, and options, edit variables, and go back onto that height sensor tab, then that variable field is gone. And then of course if you change anything, if you decide that, hey, instead of doing 2 inch lift at the end of the program, I'm going to do a 1 inch lift or 1.5, whatever you want to be, you can make any changes like that. So if we make that CNC file one more time, so now we're still lifting by the 1 inch at the beginning of the program between the cuts, but now I'm lifting 1.5 inches at the end of the program. So if you have any questions on that, let us know. Thanks.